If you walked into our house for the first time, it would probably take you a few minutes to realize something was a little unusual. There's a baby fox chasing a kitten all around the living room. When it's time for a nap, they curl up together. When it's time to play, they race through the house like two siblings who have known each other forever. Sometimes I honestly think Sherlock forgot he was a fox. But to understand why he seemed so convinced he belonged in a cat's world, we have to go back to the very beginning, when he was just a baby and his own mother rejected him. Sherlock was born on a fur farm. When he was only about 5 weeks old, something terrible happened. His mother chewed off most of his tail. We'll never know exactly why it happened, but that one injury completely changed the course of Sherlock's life. On a fur farm, a fox with an injury like that is no longer considered valuable. Because his tail was permanently damaged, Sherlock was no longer useful for fur production. As heartbreaking as that sounds, it ended up saving his life. Sherlock was rescued from the farm and given the chance to start over. Thankfully, his injury healed with time. The little bit of tail he had left looked more like a tiny bunny tail than a fox's tail. But losing part of his tail wasn't the hardest thing Sherlock had been through. He had lost his mother, his siblings, and suddenly found himself trying to make sense of a world that felt completely unfamiliar. Sherlock was incredibly lonely. He was always looking for someone to lean on, someone to sleep beside, someone to play with. And around that same time, a tiny kitten named Gwen was also looking for a home. Gwen was exactly the same age as Sherlock. They were both just little babies trying to figure out this big world together. At first, Gwen kept her distance. Sherlock was the complete opposite. He was curious, energetic, and constantly trying to get closer to her. In the beginning, Gwen seemed to be saying, "Please leave me alone." Sherlock didn't seem to understand that at all. He followed her everywhere. If Gwen walked into another room, Sherlock followed. If she climbed onto a chair, Sherlock tried to climb up after her. Little by little, his persistence slowly broke down the distance between them. Then one day, we realized Sherlock had started treating Gwen like family. Every day, the two of them raced through the house together. The couch became their playground. The dining table became a racetrack. Every room turned into another adventure waiting to happen. Watching them together, it was hard to believe one of them was a fox and the other was a cat. Sherlock learned everything from Gwen. He slept like a cat, he played like a cat. He even followed her from room to room like a little kitten following its mother. If Gwen disappeared for even a few minutes, Sherlock became restless. He searched through the house, calling for her, until he finally found her again. The moment she came back into sight, he relaxed, as if everything was okay again.
What's in your bed?
At bedtime, they curled up side by side. Sometimes Sherlock would lean against Gwen like a little puppy, while Gwen rested comfortably against him as if it were the most natural thing in the world. The biggest surprise for us was how much Sherlock changed after Gwen came into his life. Before he met her, he was quiet, timid, and deeply lonely. Afterward, he became playful, affectionate, and full of happiness. It was as though Gwen gave him permission to finally relax and simply be himself. Interestingly, none of the other rescued foxes wanted much to do with cats. They preferred staying with their own kind and usually kept their distance. Sherlock was completely different. Somehow, in his mind, Gwen was never just a cat. She was simply his family. People often ask me if Sherlock knows he's a fox. Honestly, I'm not sure. Sometimes I watch him following Gwen, curling up beside her, or calling for her when she disappears, and all I see is a little soul staying close to the one who makes him feel safe. Sherlock can never change the beginning of his story. He will always be the little fox whose own mother injured him and who lost his family far too soon. But Gwen gave him the one thing he had been searching for all along, a place where he truly belonged. Maybe the most beautiful part of this story isn't that a fox and a cat became best friends. It's that two little animals who both needed a home happened to find each other at exactly the right time. Sherlock was never lonely again. Gwen never had to grow up alone. And sometimes I wonder if Sherlock never really believed he was a cat at all. Maybe he simply knew that whenever he was with Gwen, he was finally home.
Gee, you should like being pampered. He says yes, please go back to the ear massage.